Hi, Kim Darwaza here. I'm a Northern Virginia real estate agent, and I normally talk about real estate related subjects, but I have something that's really been bugging me for about a year or two now. So I want to go off topic and see what you guys think. So my question is, why are we dumbing our daughters down when it comes to cheerleading? So, as a national average, we all know that women are paid less than men, women are in minorities are in less executive positions, which doesn't really make sense considering that more women are getting college degrees than men at this point. There are more women PhDs getting PhDs than men. And as the great Representative Beatty from Ohio, who my daughter is like, she is savage, said, when women succeed, America succeeds. So I guess my whole point in this video is we are dumbing our daughters down in cheerleading all of a sudden for some reason. So let me explain to those of you who don't know what that means. So my daughters have been doing competitive cheerleading, and I'm not talking about high school cheerleading because that's a completely different thing, and there's girls of all different levels on the same team, and it's great because they can all learn from each other. This is just from the competitive cheerleading area. So, my youngest one started when she was in kindergarten, and my older daughter started in third grade. I'm mainly going to talk about my younger one because she's the one who's had the majority of the problems with being dumbed down, if you will. So she was on a level 2 team when she was 8 years old, and she could do a back handspring, and that was the requirement. That used to be the requirement back then. She could do like a back handspring, a back walkover, a back handspring kind of thing. So we would go to these competitions in New Jersey, and I thought it was bad at the time that their Y2 team, which is youth level 2, which means I think you're 12 and under. Yeah, 12 and under, or 12. Usually you're between 8 and 12 years old. So we'd go to this competition, and these teams from New Jersey, we would notice we would perform against them, and then the girls like to always go watch like the youth level 5 team because that's exciting to them because they're so good. So they would go, and half the like 7, 8, 9, 10 girls who were on the youth level team or the Y2 team were also on the Y5 team. So they were basically like crossing over so that they could win the competition. And I was like, oh, that's not fair at the time. But now it's like even crazier. So they did actually make a rule. Now I think you can only go down 2 levels. So if you're level 5, you can only perform at level 3 if you're on the level 5 team. Obviously, if you have level 5 skills and you're only on a level 3 team, they would have no way of knowing that. And another mom, so after we had discussed that, another mom from our cheer gym, she said, well, I finally figured out how these other teams win. And I said, why, how? And she said, well, my friend moved to Denver, and her daughter can do a layout, which is a level 4 skill and a tuck, but they put her on a level 2 team. So they basically put her down 2 levels. And another one of my friends just moved to Denver and goes to a different gym, and her daughter has level 2 skills, and they put her on a level 1 team. And when she said what's going on, my daughter's been on level 2 for 3 years now, and even at one of the top gyms in the country, they said, well, we just want all the girls on level 2 have level 3 skills, so we just want them to feel confident. So basically what they're doing is they're leveling down the teams and stacking them. So I call that dumbing down the girls so they can win a trophy. And this is the exact thing that happened to my daughter. So over a year ago, she had worked so hard. She got 3 level 3 skills, tried out, and they put her on level 2. And she wasn't the only one, so it wasn't specific to her, but there were girls who were level 3 at another gym, and they put them on level 2, and some other girls who had the level 3 skills, and they put them on the level 2 team. So they basically stacked this team so that they could win a competition. And I have a real problem with that. So as we all know, like I've stated, we're still getting paid less. And another thing that's interesting is that I'm really into podcasts, and I'm really into this one by Sophia Amoruso. She founded this store called Nasty Gal, which sells regular women's clothing. I know it sounds kind of crazy. And she wrote a book about called Girl Boss, and it's a really great book. But now she has a podcast where she interviews CEOs and women executives. So like some of them was like the CEO of Burton Snowboards, which you wouldn't guess would be a woman, but it is. And so she interviews people like that. And I've been listening to these podcasts for about 6 months. And the common theme that I keep hearing is that women, if they are offered, like, for instance, when the CEO of Burton Snowboards, she said, I was offered that position, but I was like, oh no, I'm not ready to be CEO yet. Where a man would never say that. He would just be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. And so women really need to understand that they need to get out of their comfort zone and be pushed to grow in the business world. And another interesting thing or fact that I found out is if there is a job description, if a man has 50% of the skills, he will still apply for that job. A woman will not. She'll just be like, I'm not qualified. And that's a reoccurring thing where women are saying, I'm not qualified, so I'm not going to apply, or I don't deserve to have this job. And I think my whole point of this is we're doing this to ourselves. We are teaching our girls by dumbing them down a level in cheerleading. We're just adding to this. We're saying, you're not ready. Whereas my daughter, when she was placed on a team once with girls who had higher skills, I mean, she still had skills for that, the right skills for that particular team, but she was on the low end rather than the girls that were on the high end. And within a month, she got some of those high-end skills just from being around girls who had them. It's kind of like with tennis, you don't get better at tennis by playing with people on your level or people who aren't as good as you. You get better at tennis by playing with people who are better than you. And that is how life works too. And so this whole situation where we are dumbing our daughters down in a sport we dominate to get a trophy is doing a complete disservice to our daughters in the future for their careers. I mean, it is really, really not a good thing. And it's one of those things too where Sheryl Sandberg, I really love her. She's the COO of Facebook. For those of you who don't know who she is, she also wrote 2 books, one called Lean In and another called Option B. And she's one who says that, girls are called bossy. Boys are never called bossy. They're called leaders. And same thing with women. Women at work, oh, you're being too aggressive. And I get that a lot. I worked with all men. I was in consulting. So I have a very strong, aggressive personality. And, I'm in some charity groups and I was on the board. And I think like a lot of women can't, I'm very straight to the point and I have ideas and some people can handle that and some people can't. But that's how men act in the boardroom. So we really need to be afraid to use our voice, which I went to this She Rocks the World thing with my daughters on Capitol Hill, and the whole theme was use your voice. And that's how the girls are going to get ahead, because the statistic is like girls and women just don't raise their hand. And even though they don't raise their hands, they still know the answers just as well or better than the boys and men who raise their hand. So again, I think when we're dumbing them down a level for cheerleading, we're saying that, we're just sort of causing this problem to go on because we're saying, you're not good enough. You have to wait you know, so I don't get it. So anyways, I'd love to hear people's opinions on this. I'd love to do a podcast probably with a group of people who have an opinion on this subject. And so, yeah, so if you want to leave a comment or private message me, I would love to hear from you. And I would like to just say that the gym my kids are currently at does not dumb people down to get a trophy, which I love, because I think in the real world, it's teaching our girls to push themselves and to be uncomfortable, and in the long term, they will be more successful. So thanks for watching and have a great day.